We're closing in on the end of the Halloween season at Disneyland. Just 2 weeks left as of today, which of course is the perfect time to start seeing our first signs of Christmas around the Disneyland Resort. But before we look into that, there's a new feature on the Disneyland app that we want to take a look into. The Car Locator. Now, I know I'm not the only one who's forgotten where he's parked and then spent 20 minutes looking for my car, feeling just a little bit worried and concerned. There's a bit of anxiety there. So I was a little bit intrigued by this. So we're going to try to test the car locator service on the Disneyland app and see how well that works. You can do it, you can have it sense your location if you have location services turned on in the app, or you can manually enter. Already having one quick issue with that though, because when I just tested it now after parking, it said that I was too far away and that I was a little off the grid. Now, my first instinct, my first assumption is that there's trouble with Wi-Fi in here, GPS. Maybe I can't sense my location underneath this, however much concrete is above me. I checked the support, told them, they said you manually enter, it'll guide you. We're gonna test that out. I'm gonna go to downtown Disney right now. We got a little bit more news to cover there. And then we're going to come back and see if this thing can find my car after manually entering it, or if we can figure out why my location services aren't working. And right away we found a smattering of Christmas merch at the home store in downtown Disney. These cozy looking stockings and equally cozy looking wreath. This is the kind of Christmas merchandise I prefer from Disney. Classic and standard with just subtle nods to Disney imagery. It's not in your face. Man, those potted Christmas trees in that kind of cranberry-colored containers are an early favorite this year. Stopped in World of Disney, where they still have a full display of Halloween merch up, but one display with some early Christmas merch. Standard Mickey sweatshirt and ornaments, the ever-present Disney train set. Pretty sure they could sell that year-round. Happy Holidays couch pillow. Over in the ink and paint section in the last quote of the building, there's also more of that same merch we saw at the home store. At the Emporium on Main Street, they've got some more classic Christmas stockings. I love these. These two and the other ones that we saw at the home store. These look great. I love these. You got your red or green, Mickey or Minnie. Choose your style. Across the street, the China Closet on Main Street is another source for that Christmas merch we saw at the home store. And I'm just now seeing that they've got that cranberry-colored pot for the Christmas, the bonsai-looking Christmas tree, but they have it in a coffee mug form. Again, it's simple, minimal, but it's so very Christmas. It feels like Christmas to me. I want to drink a cup of coffee out of that for sure. Okay, but if you're looking for early signs of Christmas in the parks, not just in the shops, but in the parks, always start at It's a Small World. It'll be closing shortly after Halloween for its annual holiday overlay, which is fantastic. I love it. And they usually get a head start on things with the lights, which that takes a little while for them to install. The placeholders are strung up all over the facade, but not all of them have, actual lights installed yet. But here, way back in the left corner, we can see some lights already in place. Some reds, and I think that's green. And then more here on the other side of the train tracks. Now, I wondered in a news update a couple of weeks ago if Disney might try to get a head start on Christmas, following a similar pattern that they did for Halloween this year. They started earlier than usual, but then they took more time getting things installed. It took longer. And most likely, from my perspective, this was due to a shortage of casts. So they had to get more done with fewer casts, which takes longer. Whether or not this was intentional, I couldn't say. But the Small World head start, that's pretty typical. They're almost always the first place to start seeing early signs of Christmas. Is this typical, though, at Grizzly Peak? Proper Christmas decorations in full view of guests along the trail. You've got these out in front of Russian River Outfitters, and then outside Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. And I'm pretty sure this is early, right? Last year, the first sign of the holidays for me was the snow on Sleeping Beauty Castle. But if I recall, that was around the 21st, I believe. It was right about the same time that they opened Plaza Point Gift Shop. So I want to say the 21st. And even that's not necessarily proper Christmas. It's just snow. Seasonal, winter, snow. Not proper Christmas decorations like what we found at Grizzly Peak. And for whatever it's worth, I'm totally good with this. I love Christmas and prefer to enjoy it as long as it's possible. So it's welcome anywhere in Disneyland right now. 'Tis the season. I know there's folks out there who say it's too early and let's finish Halloween first. Nah, I'm good. I mean, I love Halloween, and I'm happy to have it stick around, but I'm also fine with Christmas being here. I'm fine with it. Okay, with that, let's check back in on the car locator feature. When we left you, it couldn't find our location for whatever reason, so we manually entered it. Will it find our car? So if you manually enter your location, does it do anything? Because I feel like I am missing a piece of this puzzle. Because I can already write down or take a picture or do whatever of my actual, location in the parking structure, the 3C, the Mickey 3C location. Well, what I wanted to do is tell me how to find it. Let's say I didn't do that. Let's say, you know what I mean? Like, I can do that already. No, not really. But I was curious. I wanted to find out if it was something that was specific just to Mickey and Friends parking structure. Let's go to the Toy Story parking lot. It doesn't work. I'm sorry. I wanted this to work, but it just doesn't. And so I wasn't sure if it was just me. Like I said, I also, I went to the chat feature and saw support and asked them what's up. They were no help to me. They couldn't answer why the app couldn't sense my location. So I went and checked other videos because it's already been in play at WDW at Walt Disney World. It's already been in play there for a little bit, and they all get the same thing, that we're too far away and that we need to move to a place that can sense our car, whatever that means. So now here's another reason why I'm laughing is because I've had an epiphany. It's really kind of sublime. I actually thought that the app would find my car, like a boop, 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 GPS location service. Meaning if I told it, I could like mark my location in the GPS and then it would guide me back. That's not what it does. Even if it worked, even if it sensed my location, all it does is tells me that I'm at Woody 4B. Now we go find Woody 4B. I think I think that's it. So because when the guy on chat said, well, you've already manually entered it, so you're good. And I thought, well, no, that can't be right. I mean, I want to find my car now. Don't bother with the car locator, I guess is what I'm saying. That's the bottom line. Don't bother. The app is great. App works in a lot of ways. There's a lot of cool features in the app. I dig the app. It's very useful, but the car locator is a total waste of time. I'm just being honest. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm being a negative Nancy again, but it just doesn't work. Let's keep going. Okay. There you go. But now I want to go back into the park for a minute to update you guys on a fun little observation we've been making about Mondays being the new Saturdays. We're now into, our 4th or 5th week since we've been tracking this closely. As I record this, it's a Monday. So I took a walk through the park just to kind of see if things were any different today than they have been in the past Mondays. And as you can see, it's kind of busy here in Frontierland. More than a little busy in New Orleans Square. And this doesn't look great here on our way to Haunted Mansion. But as I've been saying often recently, if you don't like the crowds or the wait times at Disneyland, just wait a minute. By the way, the wait time was 60 minutes at Haunted Mansion. 20 minutes later, I turned around in New Orleans Square and found to be not so bad. I mean, it's busy. Yes, definitely busy. Busier than it was a month or two ago, but it's all right. In Adventureland, this is kind of a microcosm of this this experience, this thing that I'm noticing. We breezed into the land via New Orleans Square, strolled by Indiana Jones, which shockingly was at a 35-minute wait. But as soon as we turned back forward, it's virtual gridlock. We couldn't hardly move. It was very difficult to get through the back half of Adventureland. Very interesting. And now, speaking of wait times, let's do one of my favorite things. Let's take a quick look at the tip board as of 3:30 p.m. on Monday. Okay, 45 for Alice. That's a pretty decent wait for Alice, actually. Astro Orbiter 30, Standard. Autopia 25 with a return time of virtually now. That's actually a little better than Standard for Autopia, at least as of late. You know, it's been busier these last, month or so. So considering what we've been seeing on Mondays and in general, that's pretty quick. Big Thunder 40 minutes with a return time of an hour. That's pretty good for what a busy day should be. Buzz is 50 and a return time of 4:15. That's a wild card. I can never make sense of Buzz Lightyear. It's one of those attractions that shouldn't be busy, but it is. But even still, I don't know. That's weird. To see Buzz have a longer standby than Big Thunder is interesting. Okay, Dumbo. Okay, that looks like Dumbo is down. Finding Nemo, 35. Not bad for Nemo. That's a pretty quick wait. That's less than standard for as of late. Haunted Mansion Holidays, standby line available now. I don't know what that means. My guess is that it's down, or they're having trouble getting data to the app, like the wait times. But there's a Disney, I should say Genie Plus or Lightning Lane return time in 6 hours is about par for this time of day. Indiana Jones, 55. We saw earlier when we walked by Indiana Jones just today, it was 35. Return time in 5 hours. Don't bother using a Lightning Lane on Indiana Jones. Just saying. Small World, strong, 50 minutes. Okay, people are showing up for Small World. My guess is that other things have gone down throughout the day, and people have been migrating to Small World because that does not compute. Normally, even during the busy season, it hasn't been a 50-minute wait, nor has it been an hour and 45 minutes for return time. Jungle Cruise 40, typical. At Tea Party, 20, typical. Winnie the Pooh, 15, typical. Matterhorn, 45, and return time of 2.5 hours. I was expecting it should be higher for a busy day. Both of those numbers should be higher. Smuggler's Run, 120, hour and 20 minutes for standby and a return time of an hour from now. People are choosing standby. But if you're already buying it for Haunted Mansion and for Indiana Jones, as evidenced by the very long return times, I wonder why it's not getting all the way to Smuggler's Run. Interesting. Toads, 20. Peter Pan, 40. Standard. Pinocchio, that is. Pirates, 45. That's okay. It's a quick 45. Snow White, 30. Space, 65. 65. And return time of 4 hours. I mean, that's busy. What are you going to do? That's busy. Splash, 45. Although it's warmer today than it has been recently, but 45 with a return time of 3.5 hours. So that's still busy. That's still pretty busy. But I'm really shocked that the standby is less. I guess people are only willing to do it today, considering it's not super hot. They're only willing to do it today if they can do it on Lightning Lane. But they're not willing to wait 80 minutes for Splash Mountain on a not-so-hot day. Does that logic make sense? Star Tours continues to confuse. 50 minutes standby, but the return time is now, so people are not wasting. I would rather see you use Lightning Lane on Star Tours than on Indiana Jones. I'm just saying. I would rather you do that. That makes far more sense to me. Okay, what is happening? Rise of the Resistance, 45 minutes. And there's no Lightning Lane being offered. So is that why it's 45? Is because they're not selling Lightning Lane? Which, by the way, would only be the case if, this has to be, that they haven't turned it on yet because the ride went down. When the ride goes down, they stopped selling Lightning Lane, right? And then so the ride just reopened, and they haven't resumed selling Lightning Lane yet. I'm guessing, question mark. If I have an opportunity before we publish this video, I'll try to come back to this and see what happens in a couple hours. But to read this plainly, that makes no sense at all for a 45-minute standby and no Lightning Lane. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Storybook on 25, standard. Okay, so that's it's busy, but not as busy as it has been. I think that's the general consensus that I can take from this. Guys, the parks are busy, but in my opinion, manageable. We've seen a few really busy days, a few very crazy days, but so far still manageable. Make your choices, commit to them, and then enjoy your day at Disneyland. The park is not so busy that you can't have a great time. And in this small sample, we can see that it's pretty much fully operational while we're on that topic. Everything is working. There was just the one little blip there on the tip board. So far, I have to say it's busier, and it should be, but it's still manageable. Stay tuned to Fresh Baked because we'll be checking in on the parks regularly to give you the most updated status of what's happening and how it's happening. These parks, we know them as well as anyone. So follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked, on Twitter at FreshBakedDisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. And if you like our show and want to show you support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, everybody. We love you. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Fresh Baked.